What if I told you she's still watching you, still thinking about you, still reading the old messages you sent? But her name, it's never going to light up your phone again. She's quiet. She's hidden. But she's there, behind every view on your stories, behind every scroll through your old photos, behind the silence that keeps you guessing. And if you don't understand why, you'll stay trapped, in confusion, in pain, in a game you can never win. But today, we change that. Today, I'll give you a lens so clear, you'll never look at her, or yourself, the same way again. You'll understand why she disappears, why she watches in silence, and how to take back the power without ever sending a single message. This is not just about getting over her, it's about reclaiming your peace, your pride, your purpose. My mission with this channel is simple: to arm men with the mindset and emotional strength, to stop chasing, stop doubting, and start leading. If you believe in the power of knowledge, if you believe no man should suffer in silence again, then join us. Like, subscribe, and comment below, because when you do, you help bring this message to every man who needs it most. Now, let's begin. Every time she sits alone with her thoughts, a war begins inside her. From the outside, it looks like she's moved on. Smiling selfies, laughter in stories, photos with friends. But you know better, because you can feel it too. Behind that polished surface, there's a hidden battlefield she never shows. One part of her, quiet but persistent, pulls her toward you. It's the weight of memories she pretends to forget, but replays like a favorite song she swore she deleted. She remembers the way you made her laugh without trying, the late night talks where she felt seen, understood. She misses that steady comfort, the kind that isn't flashy but quietly strong. The way her heartbeat changed when your name popped up, how your presence made her world feel just a little safer. That kind of connection doesn't vanish. It lingers, like smoke after a fire, no longer visible, but always in the air. Every day, even for a second, you cross her mind. A memory, a moment, a flashback to who she was when she was with you. But just as she begins to feel the pull, another force rises. Fear. Fear that if she reaches out, you won't respond. Fear that vulnerability will cost her pride. Fear that maybe, just maybe, you've already moved on without looking back. That fear is paralyzing. It binds her fingers before she can type. It drowns every impulse in a sea of hesitation. Not because she doesn't care, but because self-protection has built its fortress. And then, pride enters the room. Pride whispers, if he really missed you, he'd reach out first. Pride convinces her that the one who breaks the silence loses. So she waits, staring at her phone, wishing your name would appear, but refusing to be the one who looks weak. And finally, ego sharpens the blade. Ego doesn't whisper, it commands. You must be wanted. It says, not the one who begs. So now, she plays the waiting game. Each second of silence from you is both torture and a twisted victory. Pain, because she misses you. Victory, because she hasn't surrendered. And sometimes, she almost breaks. She almost types that message. She almost chooses courage over comfort. But just before she hits send, pride and fear crush that moment into dust, and she retreats back into the silence. But here's what matters most. The longer you stay silent, the heavier her silence becomes. She expects you to fold first, to cave, to chase. But when you don't, when you hold your ground, her story begins to collapse. The narrative she told herself to feel safe starts to feel false, because silence, my friend, can be your greatest weapon, if you know how to wield it. Silence isn't just her reaction, it's her strategy. It's not that she's forgotten you, it's not proof that she's moved on. Her silence is a carefully calculated move, a way to hold the power without lifting a finger. She knows the moment you start wondering about her, the moment you hesitate, scroll through her photos, or check her stories, she already has the upper hand. And to keep that upper hand, she says absolutely nothing, because silence does more than words ever could. Silence creates questions, it plants doubt, it disturbs emotional balance, and she knows this. She knows that the one who cares more suffers more. She bets that that silence will eat away at you faster than it eats away at her. She bets that you'll break the tension before she does. Every day she stays quiet. She's gambling on your emotions. She believes you'll reach out first, just to make the confusion stop. Even a harmless "hey, hope you're doing okay" in her world, that's not harmless. That's confirmation. Confirmation that you're still hooked, still affected, still emotionally available. And once she knows that, the game shifts. She doesn't even need to respond with warmth. She can leave you on read, or reply with a dry, distant message. Because the power isn't in her reply, it's in your first move. You see, in her world, whoever breaks the silence first loses. You might think you're being polite. You might call it being mature. But in this game of emotions, moves matter more than intentions. And the moment you make a move, you expose your emotional position. You reveal yourself, while she remains hidden, protected. That's why silence works so well for her. She doesn't need to do anything. No text, no call, no effort. She just waits. Because most men, they can't survive the silence. They crave answers. They crave closure. They crave reassurance. And the sad truth, most men will trade their dignity for a moment of emotional clarity. But silence isn't strength, it's fear. Dressed in power, it's pride behind a mask. And yet, it works, because in this emotional war, the one who seems to care less, wins. Even if she's falling apart inside, as long as she stays quiet, she looks strong. But the cracks, they're coming. You see her smiling in pictures, maybe out with friends, maybe holding a drink, wearing that same smile that once made your heart skip a beat. She posts quotes about strength, healing, independence. She looks unbothered, like she's already left you behind, like she's not just fine, she's thriving. And that hits you, doesn't it? Like a quiet punch in the chest. It makes you wonder, was I the only one who really felt something? Did she move on that fast? Did I ever matter at all? But here's what most men don't realize. People don't post their truth, they post their performance. Behind every filtered photo could be a heart drowning in silence. Behind every empowered caption could be nights of tears soaking into the same pillow that still carries your scent. Behind every post about growth might be an aching emptiness that no comment or like can ever fill. She doesn't post because she's healed. She posts because she's hiding. Hiding from the quiet, from the regret, from the haunting possibility that she let go of something real. Every photo is armor. Every story is a shield. Every caption is a wall between the world and the war raging inside her chest. She's not moving on as easily as it looks. She's trying to convince herself. She fills her schedule with distractions, parties, trips, selfies. But when the music fades, when the noise dies down, when the friends leave, that's when the mask cracks. That's when she's alone in bed, staring at her phone in the dark, scrolling through old conversations, remembering what it felt like to be truly seen. Not for her body, but for her soul. That pain, it screams louder than any quote she posts about strength. And if you, in your moment of weakness, text her, even something simple, you let her off the hook. You relieve the pressure. You save her from the consequences of walking away from you, because now she knows you're still there. She hasn't lost access to you. And that illusion of "I've moved on" gets to survive another day. But when you remain silent, when you hold your ground, you give the silence time to grow heavier, to cut deeper. Not to punish her, but to give her space to realize she may have made the biggest mistake of her life. You're not trying to hurt her. You're just no longer saving her from the truth she's trying to avoid. And that truth, she let go of the man who never needed to beg. You don't lose when she walks away. You don't lose when she goes silent. You lose the moment you break your own. The second you send that one small message, "Hey, just checking in." You lose the moment you react to her story, drop a like, comment something casual hoping she'll notice. You lose. Why? Because in her mind, your action confirms everything she needed to believe. You're still emotionally tied to her. She still holds space in your heart. She still controls the narrative. You are still hers. That single text, It might feel harmless to you, but to her, it's a signal flare. He's still there. He still cares. I still matter more to him than he matters to himself. And once she knows that, she doesn't need to miss you. She doesn't need to feel regret. She doesn't need to question anything, because she still has emotional access to you whenever she wants it, even if you don't realize you're giving it. Here's the raw truth. Nothing kills attraction faster than a man who can't master his emotions. A man who lets a moment of weakness erase weeks, months, of discipline. A man who reaches out first and shows that his feelings outweigh his strength. To her, that's not passion, that's weakness. It makes you predictable, ordinary, forgettable, and nothing makes a woman lose interest faster than a man she can predict. Every message you send to remind her of the good times doesn't bring her closer. It makes you smaller. It shrinks your value. It breaks the frame you once held. You go from being the rare man who walked away with dignity to just another guy trying to crawl back into her orbit. And every attempt you make only reinforces her decision to leave. It confirms, in her eyes, that you were never the strong one, that walking away was right. But strong men don't chase, they don't beg, they don't send signals to prove their worth. They stand, they hold the line, they let their absence do the speaking, because the man who truly wants to be missed vanishes. He becomes the blank space she can't fill with distractions or noise, the echo in her mind that only gets louder with time. That's how regret is born, not through confrontation, but through silence, and not just any silence, but disciplined, complete, unwavering silence. Not a tactic, not a 3-day no-contact trick, a way of life, a silence that says, I do not chase what walks away, I do not beg for what fails to see my value, I choose myself. Every time, that silence doesn't just make her miss you, it makes her reevaluate you, not as the man who used to be hers, but as the man she may never have deserved in the first place. And the day you break that silence, you reset everything. You hand back all the power you silently built. But if you hold it, if you sit with your feelings like a king on his throne, still, centered, unshaken, then you become something far more powerful than a memory. You become a mystery she can never replace. Powerful men don't shout, they don't chase, they don't prove, they lead, by mastering what most men fear, emotional control. True strength doesn't explode, it doesn't beg for attention, it stays calm while the world loses its mind. When chaos rises, a powerful man moves slow, measured, deliberate, unbothered. He doesn't flinch, he doesn't send texts to feel seen, he doesn't need validation to confirm his worth. He knows his value is not dependent on who stays or who leaves. It's already complete, already full, already undeniable. Emotional control isn't just a skill, it's a shield. It separates the men who react from the men who lead. It's what turns a forgettable man into an unforgettable presence. Think about this. The average man feels pain and immediately moves to escape it. He texts, he calls, he posts. He needs to be noticed to feel real. But a stoic man, he feels everything, the ache, the craving, the sadness, and he still doesn't move. He lets the storm pass. He holds steady like a mountain in the wind. That's not cold, that's power. Because once you can sit with discomfort without needing a quick fix, you become unstoppable. She no longer haunts you, because she can't touch what she can't reach. You stop being a memory and become a mystery, something rare, something irreplaceable. Because women don't miss the men who are always available, they miss the men who vanish into purpose, the men who build their own kingdom while others drown in nostalgia. That kind of man, he's not chasing closure, he's too busy building his empire. He doesn't need her to see his worth, because he already does. And that's what emotional control gives you. Freedom, clarity, dominance without noise. Every time you feel the urge to reach out and choose silence instead, you grow stronger. Every second you hold your ground without flinching, you teach her and yourself that you are a man who cannot be moved. by fleeting emotion, and in that silence, you don't disappear. You rise. You become the ghost she can't stop thinking about, the question she can't answer, the presence that echoes, louder than words ever could. You are no longer the man, waiting to be chosen. You become the man, who chooses himself. Your new mindset begins with one simple, radical decision. You stop chasing ghosts. You stop waiting by your phone for her to realize what she lost. You stop checking stories, replaying memories, rehearsing words you'll never say, because that man, the one who needed her validation to feel worthy, is gone, buried. And in his place rises a man who chooses himself. From today forward, you build a life so rich, so grounded, so magnetic, that her absence feels like nothing but a whisper in the wind. You no longer see her silence as rejection. You see it as redirection. Every second you don't hear from her is another second you invest in your mind, your body, your mission. You are not here to chase someone who had the audacity to walk away. You are here to build something so extraordinary they regret ever losing access to you. Because here's the truth, you were whole long before she entered your life. And now that she's gone, you are stronger. Her leaving didn't break you, it broke the illusion that you needed her to be complete. The only real loss is losing yourself trying to win her back. Never again. You will not sacrifice your dignity, your pride, or your peace just to be chosen by someone who once doubted your worth. That's not who you are anymore. You are no longer the man, frozen in the past, wishing he could go back. You are motion, you are forward, you are becoming. And when she thinks of you, and she will, it won't be with comfort, it will be with a slow, burning ache she cannot soothe, because she lost a man who became unstoppable without her. This journey isn't about revenge, it's about reclamation, taking back what was always yours. Your power, your pride, your peace. Every time you resist the urge to reach out, you become stronger. Every moment you stay silent, you rise higher. Every step you take forward, without looking back, you become more unforgettable than any message ever could be. She had her chance, now it's your turn. And if you found strength in these words, if you believe other men deserve to hear this truth, support this channel, like, subscribe, drop a comment, because right now, there's someone out there, silently hurting, lost in the confusion she left behind, who needs to hear this. Together, we are building a brotherhood of men, who no longer chase, we lead, and we do it, in silence.